Reasons for visa refusal. Basically, there's something called R216, that's regulation 216, and R220. That is mainly the reason a lot of people, not just Nigerians, are refused study permit, especially. Now, R216 has to do with the visa officer saying that I'm not satisfied that you will leave Canada at the end of your stay as stipulated in subsection 216. That is regulation 216. What is it all about? Intent first. Intent as a student. We all know that when you travel to Canada to study, after graduation, you apply for open work permit. Open work permit, when you work 1 year, you apply for permanent residency under Canadian Express entry. Canadian Experience class. I will get to breaking PR down, skilled worker, EE, and CEC, just as it really has shortly. But let's talk about that first. Intent as a student. You have to show the officer that you are a genuine student. It doesn't matter that this is what you're going to be when you graduate. But leaving Canada, we have to show that you're a genuine student. How do we prove that? Showing them that you have family ties in your own country. Family ties in Nigeria. This study permit I'm talking about has to do even with minors. Minors are students that are less than 18. Even 22 is the official age in Canada. So if you have a child that's just graduating from high school, that needs to do a pre-uni in Canada, this is applicable to everyone, or that's going to college, this is the same. It's just that the requirements in terms of financial is different from a student going to high school to do a pre-uni or to start, or a 14-year-old that go to high school in Canada. It's different from someone who is going to college as a postgrad or as a first-year university student. So intent as a student is really important. You must show your family ties in your own country. Do you have father that you come back to after graduation? Your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, they are all important. So all these things have to be detailed when you submit your application. And if you have family in Canada too, residing in Canada, that is another thing you must let them know. But it is always better to show your family, show that you have enough family ties in your own country than Canada. Now, having family in Canada is not a crime. Most times they work against a lot of applicants, but if you do not declare, they're still going to find out. So if they find out, because there's a way you fill your forms and they know that all your families, you don't even need, sometimes some people don't even know that they have family in Canada. It's when they submit the application, they find them out, they fish them out. So making sure that you tell them your family ties in your own country versus country of residence or versus Canada. Country of residence in terms of you are not a Nigerian and you are able to live in Nigeria, this is your country of residence. If this is your own country, this is your country, this is where you live, it's different from you having someone in Canada. So it is always better. Another main thing we need to consider is purpose of physics. Are you a genuine student? How do we define that? You must have a strong statement of purpose. Strong statement of purpose that will show why you want to go to Canada. It has to be concise, enticing, detailed, well planned. Because when you submit your application, your study permit application, the first thing the officer looks at is, why Canada? Why can't you find the same course in your country, your own country in Canada, Nigeria? Why do you suddenly wake up and decide to go to school in Canada? If you claim that they do not offer that course in your own country, how about you going to Ghana or you go to Benin Republic, neighboring countries? Why Canada? That's the first thing that comes to them. So you must be able to show them, convince them your statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is what we expect clients, applicants to write. Explaining why they want to go to Canada, what they tend to benefit from studying in Canada. if they do as against doing the same program in Nigeria or their own country. So that statement of purpose is a big deal. It is what they look for. They want to know that actually you know what you're going to Canada to do. Not that your consultant is helping you to put everything right. How about you saying something about yourself? It's very important. Then they want to look at your establishment. Are you currently employed in your country? Is it full-time or part-time? Do you have a reference letter from your employer? Or do you have enough family connection in Nigeria and you want to know your current pay? Don't let the current pay discourage you. Because if you earn 100,000 naira per month, for example in Nigeria, if converted to Canadian dollars, that is like you earning about $210 per month or $220. That does not mean that you are not doing well in Nigeria because the economic situation is different. They know that Nigeria is tough. Canada, you don't pick money on the street, so. But conversion rate is not favorable at this time. But you are earning something. Even if you have $500, 500,000 naira monthly, that is just $1,200, which is still minimum. If you have to pay rent in Canada, that's more than that. So they're not going to consider how much you earn. They're going to consider, don't shake your head because you think that's a lot of money. Because if you work in Canada, you're going to make more than that. So paying $1,200 will not be a big deal to you. Trust me. It doesn't matter what you do. It's just the effort you put in what you do. We Nigerians, we are residents in nature. We know how we are good workers, we're hard workers actually. When we find ourselves abroad, we work so hard and we make it, we do better. It's only if you don't know what you're doing. And I've hardly seen Nigerians that don't know what they're doing when they get abroad. That I know. So 1,200 is a big deal now, but when you get there, when you start earning this money, you look like, what is 1,200? That's just it. So then they look at your country's situation. That's your own country. It's just do you have a stable economy? No, is the economy stable in your country? Is there war in your country? Are you looking to apply for a study permit as an avenue to run away from Nigeria because the country is not stable? Yes, we know Nigeria is not stable. We know things are not working right now. But there's a way we can put it that it's not going to be, that we won't be lying. But we can defend why we want to study in Canada. Everyone has a reason they want to travel. So when you come to me as a client, the first thing I ask you is, convince me first. You have to move past me first before I represent you. If you do not have a cogent reason for, you call me, I want to travel to Canada. I ask you, what for? As what? As what is what I ask you. Because everyone wants to go to Canada, not everyone qualifies, unfortunately. It's like, when you want to, people that, I was talking to my sister last night, I can't remember the country I mentioned, a neighboring country here, they come to Nigeria to do security and all that. Because we are Nigerians, we do not realize that Nigerian immigration actually do not allow anyone to come into the country. Because we are Nigerians and Nigeria is not a big deal to us, that's why we do not know. When we see other countries, neighboring countries, Niger Republic, I was talking about Niger Republic, and we will see how what is going on in that country, they really, really want to come here to do anything because this money they make is a big deal when they go back there. That's why we know that they're working. So the same thing as every other country. They don't just want you to come to Canada just because they want to go to Canada. There must be a reason you want to go to Canada. So you call me, you want to go to Canada, that's what? Either you want to visit is you visit, you come back, that's what it entails. Or you want to study, do you have what it takes to study? Or you want to go as permanent resident? Or do you have a family that will fight for you? That's one of those things. And they look at the prospects of getting a job after you study. They look at how much you are spending on this program you want to do. If you spend $20,000, when you come back to your country, how much are you going to get? How long does it take to make the money back? They consider all those. Or even in Canada, let's assume that you decide to stay back in Canada. Do you have a prospect of getting a job when you're done with the course? Because I know that a lot of people just go online, they find a program of study, and they apply. They don't know that they are supposed to do something before. Look at the job prospect, it's very important before you apply for a job. Now, I want to move to financial reviews. Why R222? have 220, why a lot of people are refused. One, the decision officer looks at the funds available for study when you apply for a study permit. They look at your tuition, can you afford it? If your tuition is international students is $20,000, then they compare, they add your living expense to it. What are your living expenses? Basically, they're talking about your rent. You're going to live in a school dormitory. They're talking about you buying a laptop to work, because when you go to school in Canada, there are a lot of presentation. You find yourself standing in front of your class, presenting whatever homework you have. You must have a laptop before you study in Canada. They look at, part of your living expenses is you buying a winter jacket. Canadian weather and Nigerian weather are not the same. You cannot wear what you wear now when it's winter. You can only wear this summertime. Summertime can even be too hot for what you wear now. So you must buy a winter jacket, a snow boot or a winter boot. You just have to change your wardrobe going to Canada. So those are the things that will be in your living expenses. So they compare, say your tuition is 20,000, then we just add 10,000 to it. That's 30,000. Are you able to afford it? Now, avoiding it does not mean that you are paying just that for a year or just for a month. Do you have $30,000 in your account? Is that all you need to apply for a visa? No. It goes beyond that. If someone is sponsoring you, what is the inflow consistency on that account? The sponsor account must be sufficient. They want to look at the inflow and outflow. Not that you are going to drop a lump sum just for the purpose of securing the visa. No, that will red flag your account. They know that either you borrow this money or you purposely put this money in your account to receive them. So $30,000, you cannot have $30,000 in a month. That's not what we're talking about. They want to see $30,000 maybe at the end of the month as your balances for like 6 months. Because if you have 30,000 actually multiplied by 4 is what they want to say. Because if you are spending $30,000, you're spending $30,000 on tuition, and you only have $40,000 in your account. That is your life savings you are spending. So what happens to other people at home? You have 4 or 3 children, and you want to spend $30,000 on just one person. So how does other people live? So what happens if that year passed? How do you survive? How do you pay the tuition of this person? That's why a lot of people get so refused. Then, of course, your return ticket back to Nigeria, it must be included when you submit your application. Look at your return back tickets. If you are going to Canada to study a course that's more than a program that's more than 1 year, you probably will not need a return ticket, because we all know that ticket expires after 1 year. But at least you should show them the ability to pay for it, which is very important. And of course, we are going to link these R213s that I talk about, the intent, family ties, and financial. Everything is linked together. You must be able to fulfill all this before you get a visa to Canada. Now, benefits of traveling to Canada as a student. If you are a mature student, we refer to anyone that is going to do a postgrad after university as a mature student. If you are just graduating from high school, you are the perfect candidate. Mature students are, after graduation, going to university. After university, you are going to Canada to college as international students or to university. You probably have worked 1 or 2 years. Or some people have worked 8 or 10 years and they just decided to, study permit is easy. That's the best way to get to Canada. That's when they decide to go to Canada. There's been gap in your education. So there's a lot of fights to get you. It's not impossible. You just need to give it to someone who knows what he or she is to get through. Now, when we look at that time, how do we defend it? Some schools will not even accept you because there's too much gap in your education. So that's where that's when they start working hard to make sure that first we need to get you into a program that is suitable for you. suitable has to do with who you have, what you do. That's why the one-on-one is necessary. That's why our clients that went to get admission program based on their first degree and they come to me for visa, it just messed me up. And at that point, and the tuition already, I just tell them this have to take it out because they're going to refuse you. Because there are a lot of things you need to consider. It's not just you going to the website and get the program based on your first degree and you are not doing something related to it. How do we defend that? You understand what I'm saying? So there are a lot of things that we need to put into consideration. So as a mature student, traveling to Canada as a student, advantage is one, if you are a lady, you have young children, you want to go with your young children, forget it. It's not going to work. Not when you are leaving. First, you need to get to Canada as a student before we apply for your dependents. If your dependents get to Canada, if they are below 18 years old, they go to school for free. Advantage. It's a big one. They go to public funded high school or elementary. High school age, when they're 18, it's time for them to go to university or college in Canada. So far they are still 18, high school or elementary or even preschool. What you guys call preschool here, you get to go to school for free in Canada. Being a dependent of an international student who's an adult. You can apply for your spouse to join you when you're in Canada. Your spouse gets an open work permit from Nigeria, meaning that he doesn't need to go to school. Once he gets to Canada, he can work, apply for jobs anywhere while in Canada, while your children go to school. That side of you applying with your family is, how do we prove family ties when everyone is living in Nigeria to study? So that's why it's advisable we don't put everything in at the same time. But that does not mean that you do not declare them your form. Because if you fill any Canadian form and you do not declare your family, you will never be able to invite them or fight for them. Like never with a capital letter. That's the way it works. So it's always better to go to them and say, I have 10 children. I'm not going with them. If you're rich, if you have dark balances, yes, it's possible. You go with your children. But remember that you have to prove that you can afford to put them in daycare when you're in school. Because when you're in school, you don't have time to take care of your children. So those are the finances that we need to support. Whatever we're submitting to them, we have to prove that, okay, we must find a daycare for this child you are taking to you with Canada, and taking with you to Canada. The daycare has to be close to your school in order for you to check your child while you're in school. That's a distraction for you. And we have to pay for it before you get your visa. And we must show proof of funds for them too. So that's why it's advisable you go first, they come to join you. I know it's difficult for mothers to leave their children, but I can tell you that if you try to do that, unfortunately that may not work. So open work permits for your spouse, your children get to go to school for free. Don't forget, you must graduate at the time you should for you to qualify for open work permit when you graduate. If you do not graduate, you are supposed to be a full-time student. If you choose to drop some of the courses and you become a part-time, you will not be able to graduate as at when you should, and you will not be eligible for open work permits. And some people like to use study permits as a stepping stone to get to Canada. I had these jingles, I don't know, that I used to put on my WhatsApp status about a recording of an agent, in quotes, who was talking to a client about study permits in Canada. He said he doesn't like applying for masters for his students again, or for his clients, because they do not grant visa for people that want to, African that want to travel to Canada for master's program, which is a big lie. This guy was talking with authority. I was fooling. He said you only need to apply for 2 years course. When you apply for 2 years course, you get 3 years open work permit. True. When you graduate. When you get to Canada, you don't go to school. Just go and work. When your visa is about to expire, go and get another school. They'll give you another open work permit. lie, authoritatively, lórí irọ́. Because the moment you stop attending classes, your school are going to notify immigration that you are no more a student because they are obliged to report. And when you are no more a student, that means you are out of status. Automatically, there's a deportation order on you. You do not know that you have deportation order on you because they are not looking for you. There's every possibility that you must have moved from the address they have on file. But one day, if they find you, you're coming back to Nigeria. But because they want to hem on, they want you to sign them. Or, I don't know. I don't know why. They just tell you stories. And what comes to my mind is, okay, you can do this for this person. How about you doing it for yourself? Have you even been to the airport? How about you send your family to go to school in Canada? Tell them, get a study permit for them. And tell them not to attend school. When they get there, let them drop out and say what happened. That is if you can get it. I've had clients that claim they're agents. That they help people to package, but they cannot package for themselves. And they're coming to me. I just smile. And you know what? Let me bust your bubble. Why you cannot package when it comes to statement of account? Because I know that is what most Nigerians do. That's what we do. They call it buffer or whatever. You go to the bank, they buff your account for you. Canadian Embassy does not want paper statement of account from you again. Except your bank is not one of the banks that are registered for it. There's something we call my statement. So you're actually going to generate a code for them to give them access directly to your account. The same way you log into your account when you want to do transfer. That's what they want to say. So how do you buff your account? Do you know from where to where they're checking? How do you go and print a statement of account for me and expect? I just want to see your statement of account to be sure that you have what it takes before I submit your application. If there's a lump sum deposited in your account, I want you to explain to me why. Did you sell something? Did you get a gift from someone? I want to explain it in my own submission letter as an authorized state representative. That this is why we have this lump sum in the account. So that I do not just submit and reflect and send your file back to me by refusing it. So if you cannot explain this money to me, what do I write? So from onset, I tell you, when I consult with you, I tell you this is what it takes. Do you have what it takes? I am not an agent. I don't help people package. I don't package nothing. I tell you what you need to give to me. Like I said, I have the same training as people that check your files. I'm not one. I'm not an immigration officer. I'm not a consular. I'm not related to any. But I know what they're looking for when you submit your application. And I make sure that I put your best foot forward so that when I submit your application, we are going to get a favorable result. Now, after putting everything, we can still get reviews. That we need to know. My colleague that will join us will talk about judicial review, but I'll quickly say something about it when you join. If I submit your application, or if my colleague submits your application, I know his ability. I can only talk for myself, and to a large extent I can talk for KSA. If I submit your application, you give me everything I want, I submit your application, and you are refused, I know that you are, once I meet with you, I tell you your application is 50-50, especially mature students, studying permits now. Mature students, because, like I said, age gap in education, age is not your side too. 50-50, but if I submit your application, you're able to give me everything, and you are refused, we'll go for judicial review. So you have to be prepared. I tell you from onset, if you are not ready, I will not sign you up. Judicial review meaning, I know what I'm doing, I know what I submit. My applicant, my client is service. I am querying the officer's authority for refusing my client. I have the authority to query it. Based on experience, judicial review is settled out of court. Within this, you get your visa because I know what I'm doing. It's only if you do not give me what I want. If in between the application, I tell you during consultation, this is what I need from you, and you assure me I'll get it. Now, it's time to do paperwork, you cannot provide what I need. I'm going to write an email to you, ask you to confirm that this is your fault, not mine. Because I have to do what is ethically right by you. That you are the one that refused to explain this to me, and you get banned based on this. I'm sorry, I'm not able to do it. So, judicial review basically, I am not a lawyer, I'm a consultant. Yes, when I do the submission letter, I have to support with a lot of case law, but I do not go to court to represent clients. I can represent clients when it comes to asylum claim, which is not my area of expertise, which is not what I do at all, which is not what I want to do. But I cannot represent you when it gets to judicial review. So that's where extra comes in. I have colleagues that are lawyers that will sort that for you, who I will just hand over the case to, and I know you're in good case.